So I want us to give a big welcome to the president of Global Field Development, A.K. Khalil.
Get you guys on social media here. Let me get a good look at everybody. All right, Zarina, thank you. You are awesome. Okay, how is everybody doing? Are you guys having a good time so far? I gotta tell you, I am super fired up to be here now. How many people are a little hungry? All right, well, listen, here's what we're gonna do. Here's what I can promise you. For the next 20, 25 minutes, we're going to have a great time together. And I have some rules. Is that okay? I just have a couple rules for everybody. Rule number one, I'm going to share a lot of good stuff. And what I want you to do is don't trust your memory. I want you to actually take some notes. Does everybody have a pen and paper? Say yes.
Really
now,
strong.
The next thing that I want you to know is I don't like recording.
And then like, okay, let's.
Hello? Hello. So the next thing that I want you to do is I don't like recording, because here's what happens. I watch people as I'm looking at them and they are watching me through their phone. And also you can't take notes. Pay attention, be present, be here. This is live, this is in Zoom. You don't have to watch your phone. Does this make sense? Now, the third thing is I want you to engage the information. And when I say yes, everybody's like, yes. Right? So I want you to engage, because when you engage the information, you will remember more, I promise you. Does that make sense? So here's what I gotta tell you, Zarina's amazing. This entire corporate team, Betty, the whole team is amazing. But yesterday, when I spoke, someone asked me a question. They came up to me. They said, AK, they said, how do you have so much energy? And why do you love this so much? You seem like you just love this. And here's the reality. Been doing this business for 22 years. Started off as a distributor. First in my family to be born in the U.S. I'm Lebanese. And for me, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. This vehicle, I found a way. And when I got started, I have to tell you, 20 years old, it was about the money. I wanted to make more money. I wanted to have success. I wanted to drive the nice cars. I wanted to travel. I wanted to do all these things that I saw other people doing. But you see, that only lasts a certain amount of time. Right now, for me, she's right. This isn't work. Let me tell you, right now for me, somebody asked me yesterday, they said, how do you have so much energy? And here's what I've seen. All over the world doing this business, I've seen people smart, intellectual, successful, powerful, all the skills, all the money. But I haven't seen many people that are happy. I mean, truly happy. And the ones that I have seen that are truly happy, when you talk to them about why they're happy, they talk about being able to have a vehicle to serve others. And let me tell you something. It clicked the light bulb in my head. The reason I love what I do is I found a vehicle that can allow me to take some of the talents that God has blessed me with to help serve others. That is how I have so much energy. That is why I love this business. Does this make sense? We have a vehicle that allows us to serve others. Let me tell you something. Service to others leads to happiness. That's what I have found in my life. The more you give, the more you give, the more you give, the better you feel. The better you feel, the more success you have. Does this make sense? So when I'm here, my answer usually, anybody asks me, can you do a call? Can you do video? Can you do this? It's always yes, because this is fun. It's easy. Now that we've gotten to know each other, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have some fun. I'm not going to talk to you about Janess right now. What? I'm going to talk to you about another company. What? And the reason I want to talk to you about this company, it's the most remarkable company in the world. Let me tell you something. This company that I'm going to talk to you about, much like Jeunesse today, they actually have 3 founders. These founders love the business more than anyone I have ever seen. They've given everything, their heart. They're the definition of giving the most. They have an incredible CEO, absolute visionary. This company just had their big event, their big expo, 50,000 people at that event. This company had an incentive trip. They actually had to rent out 4 or 5 hotels just to take everybody. Unbelievable. This company has offices in over 50 countries, products registered in every market, and they've helped millions of children around the world. Pretty incredible company. You see, the company I'm talking about, it's not Jeunesse today. It's Jeunesse 20 years from when they launched in 2029. You see, you got to be able to have the vision. Right now, people say, AK, why are you so excited about Jeunesse? Let me tell you, it's the new Jeunesse. I can see 2029. That, what I just described, I feel like it's already happened. We're just waiting for time to pass. Does that make sense? That's how you have to see it. You know, when I listen to the Diamonds today, they've all talked about, they believed before it actually happened. You hear that all the time. And that belief is what fuels people. Does this make sense? So I've been obsessed for the last 22 years on a very simple question. Because listen, when I was a distributor, I'd find people and I'd say, they are going to be a rock star. They know people, they're successful, they're fun, they're going to be amazing. And then they join, and a few months later, I can't find them. They disappear. And then I talk to people and I find people, and I'm like, I don't know if they're going to do it. And they end up going all the way to the top. It's unbelievable. So I've been obsessed with this question. Why is it that some people have success and other people don't? You know, because the reality is, it's not the conditions in our life. Because we just heard Adrian. He was homeless, sleeping in his car, and now he's a diamond. We've heard story after story. First-time networkers, no experience, all these different people, all these different stories. I got to go to a diamond trip, and I heard story after story after story. I was excited before I joined. But coming back from that trip, all those stories and all these people, I just got so fired up. 2029, 10 years, it was clear in my mind as it's ever been. Because it's not the conditions in our life. It's the decisions that we make. And that's the reality. Every day, we make thousands of decisions. And we don't look at them as decisions. Because we've been conditioned to just do certain things. Like today, all of you woke up at a certain time. That was a decision. Now, here's what I've learned. People make decisions really based on 2 factors. Just 2. Either to get away from pain or to go towards pleasure. Does this make sense? Everything we do, it's either to get away from pain or to go towards pleasure. What time to wake up? Snooze button comes on. Avoid the pain, snooze, snooze, snooze. I don't want to wake up. What you wear, what you eat, all of that, it's either to avoid pain or to have pleasure. Now, how many people in this room have ever procrastinated? Let me see a show of hands. Now, what is procrastination? Pushing away the pain to a later time, right? We have a promotion Adrian was talking about right now, and we launched that promotion 30 days ago. But I've got 2 months. I've got 7 weeks. I've got 6 weeks, I've got 5 weeks, I've got 4 weeks. All of a sudden, there does become a point where the pain of not taking action is actually greater. And that's when it flips. And you're like, okay, I gotta enroll like 50 people in 2 days when you had 2 months. Does this make sense? Pain and pleasure. So right now, when we talk about new packs and new kits and all of this new stuff that we have, they require a decision. But the problem is, people right away think about short-term pain. They want to avoid the short-term pain. And what happens is, we sacrifice our long-term pleasure. I promise you this. Every diamond, every successful person in this company has made sacrifices. They've gone through those short-term pains in order to have long-term pleasure. I've seen it, I've heard it, they've lived it. I promise you, everywhere in the world. Does this make sense? This is, I have to tell you, this is the holy grail when I meet people and I know if they're going to be successful or not. It's not based on the conditions in their life. We've seen old, young, educated, no educated, money, no money. All different people have all different levels of success. It's the decisions that they make. Something I learned, how you do anything is usually how you do everything. You show me how you do a couple things, I'll know how you make your decisions. How you make your decisions, I will know, do you put away the pain or do you accept the short-term pain in order to have long-term pleasure? Does this make sense? I can tell now, and I can watch, and you can tell. So next time you're, and it's funny, how many people's parents have ever told them, finish all your food? Eat all your food, finish all your food, finish all My parents growing up, we didn't have a lot of food. So they'd always say, finish all your food. Now, as I got older, guess what I always do? Finish all my food. I've been conditioned. It's not a decision anymore just to finish all my food. The problem is when you get older, your plates get bigger and you still finish all your food. Now, but we've been conditioned in our life with all of these things that aren't reality. Let me give you an example. Yesterday I heard Adam Gilmer. He talked about skydiving. And I thought, what a great analogy. Because watch this. Skydiving, I've done it. The scariest part of skydiving is fake. It's they put the parachute on you and you're terrified. You're like, okay, we're going to do this. We're really going to do this. And then you get on the plane, and you're still terrified. Wait a minute. Can we turn around? Maybe? I don't know. Plane takes off. It's shaking unlike a normal plane. Then you're up there, and they open the door. You are terrified through this experience. And then they're like, okay, we're really going to do this. We're really going to. And then finally, you jump. And then you enjoy the journey. But all that pain leading up to that moment that you jumped was terrifying. And then you realize it's not even real. The pain that you were so afraid of is actually not reality. Does this make sense? I have to tell you, I could spend all day on this subject of how people make decisions. It's fascinating for me. I've been obsessed with this my entire life. Because everything that people do, I can tell their level of success now. Because it's not just in our business, it's how they make decisions in everything. Do they avoid pain or do they go towards pleasure? And most people do it the wrong way. They avoid short-term pain and sacrifice long-term pleasure. That's the reality. When we have to accept going through that pain and that struggle, you're in the elevator. Did you talk to that person or were you afraid? The pain, what if I get rejected? What if they say no? What if they don't like me? What are they going to say? No. See, going through that pain is part of your journey to have that long-term success. Does this make sense? All right, guys. Now, here's what I can tell you. I want to leave you with a story. I heard this story a while ago, and it had such an just amazing message it was like burned in my soul when I heard it, because it defined everything that we've been talking about today. Now, the story takes place 200 years ago, and it's 100% true story. You can look this up later on. It's about a guy named Russell Conwell. How many people have ever heard of Russell Conwell? Probably not. You have no idea who he is. Well, let me tell you, when I heard the story, I was blown away. Russell Conwell was a very successful entrepreneur. Now, this entrepreneur, he went to Yale, he got a law degree, and he decided, this is 200 years ago, in the early 1800s, he said, you know what, I want to take a trip to the Middle East. And it wasn't like back then you could just jump on a plane. I mean, it was a trip. So he said, you know what, I want to take a trip to the Middle East, and I want to tour the Middle East. And he did. He was riding on camel. He was sleeping in tents. He had a campfire every night. And on this journey, he had an Arab tour guide. Now, one night, this Arab tour guide told him a story. This story forever changed his life. In fact, when he got back from his trip, he wrote a book about this story. That book, without Instagram sales marketing even trying in early 1800s, sold 7 million copies. It became so popular, true story, it became so popular that they asked him to travel around the world and give this speech about this book over 6,000 times. What he did, he took all of that money that generated from the book, from those speeches, and he founded one of the most successful colleges in the United States called Temple University. How many people have heard of Temple University? Temple University was started because of the story that I'm going to share with you today. How many people want to hear the story? Now let me tell you about this story. It's fascinating. You see, in Africa, there was a guy named Ali Hafid. Now, Ali Hafid owned acres of land. And on these acres of land, you know, he was just making a living. He had a wife, he had kids, he had a plow, he had an ox, he had a mule, and he would work that land. He would take that plow, he would grow produce, he would sell the produce, but it was hard work every single day. Now, one day, a traveler comes in, visits him on his land, and say, it's a shame that you have to do all this hard work every day. Calluses on your hand, struggling every day just to try to get by. He said, you know what you should do? And Hafid said, what? He said, you should go to India. India, they have this place in between two mountains. It's called the Valley of the Moon. And people are getting diamonds just by putting their hand in the water, and they're coming out with diamonds the size of rocks. You need to go to the Valley of the Moon. So he said, okay. So that night he started thinking about this. Diamonds, India, Valley of the Moon. He started to get frustrated. Every day he was working in this field, getting more frustrated. Weeks went by. He made a decision and woke up one day, sold his land. He told his wife and kids, he said, I'm putting you in this home temporarily. And when I come back, I'm going to have so many diamonds, we're going to be the wealthiest family around. So he went, he left, he took that money and he went to India to look for diamonds. Years went by, no diamonds. Searching all over India, no diamonds. He then left India to go to another country. He went to Europe, all over Europe, looking for diamonds. And finally, he got so sick of it and discouraged. He wrote a letter to his wife and kids and said, there are no diamonds anywhere. He threw himself in a raging river, and that was the end. Sad story, but it's not the end of the story. You see, meanwhile, the person that bought his land in Africa, same ox, same mule, plowing the land every day, struggling. The biggest frustration he had on that land, acres, The biggest frustration he had is he would always hit these rocks with his plow. He was hitting these rocks all the time with his plow, every day. Now, one day, he hit this rock, and it was a bigger rock, and it was actually a little bit more shiny, and it looked like the rainbow, he said, when he held it up to the sun. So he took this stone, and he put it on the mantle of his fireplace, not knowing anything. A couple days later, the local priest comes by, true story, to say hello and welcome them to the community and invite them to the church. And he said, he saw the rock on the mantle. He said, "Where did you get this?" The guy said, "In my field. There's thousands of them." He goes, "They're the most annoying thing. I hit them every day with the plow. There's thousands." He goes, "That right there is a diamond in the rough." You see, a diamond in its raw form, it doesn't look like a diamond on the outside, but on the inside it is. He said, "That is a diamond in the rough." The guy didn't believe him. He took the rock to the local place to get valued. 200 years ago, that was valued at $25,000, that rock, which would be millions today for one. Turns out, that land is known as the Golconda diamond mine. It is the #1 diamond mine in the world. All of the kings and queens and royalty get all their diamonds from that mine because they say it is the purest diamond in the world. And as I heard this story, isn't that so fitting? You see, people always say, if only I had that product. If only I had that country. If only I had that comp plan. If only. The grass is greener on the other side, when the reality is everything he needed was right there. He just had to learn what a diamond looked like. In our business, we just have to brush up on our skills. We have to go to the events. We have to take action. We have to make decisions. We have to do all the things that make us a diamond. Does this make sense? You see, I stand here and I look at all of you. I've been watching everybody and looking at all of you. And I promise you, all I see right here is acres of diamonds. That's all I see. All you have to do is make the right decisions. The decisions you make will determine your future. They will determine your success. Does this make sense? Yes. All right. We love you guys. So thankful, so happy to be here. And I can't wait to see the future together with all of you. Thank you guys so much. All I do is win, win, win.